Hey, hey, hey.
All right, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah, we in this bitch.
Welcome to Brain versus the Universe.
Yeah.
We got three friends here that are going to challenge each other's ideas and imaginations, as well as, everybody remember? See if I can get this time.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
See if I can get it.
No pressure.
The universe is not, God damn it. It's stranger than the universe is stranger than we can imagine.
No.
Damn it, I said it.
The universe is not only stranger than we imagine, it is stranger than we can.
All right, next time I'm just cutting to you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
We're going to let you say it and I'll jump back in.
I'll take care of it.
But my name is Victor. You got my boy Cole to the left of me. You got my boy Ty to the right of me.
Yeah, we out here, man.
Of course, go ahead and like and subscribe to Outside in Theater. They are going to be the ones that we are working with in regards to this podcast. Also, if you have any interesting ideas, if you feel like you like what we're talking about, of course, go ahead and answer the chat. Give us some thoughts. Give us some feedback.
Yeah,
Let us know.
You know, give us some comments.
My older brother should be in the chat.
He already in there?
He better be.
What's up, Chad? What's going on, bro?
He getting knocked
What's going
out
on, man?
Shoot, well, we're going to go ahead and drop on
Is he still he's in Tyler, right?
Yeah.
He's in Houston now.
Houston?
He's in Houston now.
Actually, how's everybody been doing this week?
I had, once again, I can't complain, man.
Can't complain?
I can't complain. Things
Enjoying
going
everything?
good, man. I can't even believe how good things keep going.
Got an easier
I'm
life
on a
going?
winning streak, man.
You walked up to me, he goes, "What the fuck's going on, man?
Yeah.
What's going on?" I was
We
like,
all three of us on a winning
Things are
streak
moving
right
right
now,
now.
man. This shit's getting ugly.
It is.
I told him it was gonna get ugly. Some people ain't believe me.
But
That's on
man.
you at this point. It's on you. I tried to warn you, cuz.
Yep.
You ain't listen. All right?
Now you about to get this work.
You about to get all of this. Work!
But all right, everybody, let's go ahead and drop into the first BVU of the day. Ty,
All
go
right.
ahead and drop it off.
It's on me. All right. So, my brain. All right. Actually, let me start here. The Olympics is going on currently.
Yes.
Last I checked, we're in second place for gold medals behind Japan, I think it was. Second place for total medals behind China, I believe it was.
Okay.
China usually gets the most medals.
We usually compete with them back and forth. So
Yeah, they've
That's
got
not-
us significantly outnumbered. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. But
we got Lockheed Skunk Works, man.
we got the American invented sport.
Yeah.
Basketball,
Mm.
invented by James Naismith.
Boston, right?
Yes,
Yes.
little peach basket, man.
Mm.
Game
Boston, that's a
started-
hell of a sports city, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it is.
My
Started
God.
with
It
a
is.
little peach basket, and then however many decades later, we got Zion Williamson.
A little racist, but a hell of a sports
Yes.
city.
A little,
Little. It's
a
not.
little. That's why I
light work.
tell all my East Coast friends, I'll be like, y'all try to put that racism shit just on the South.
No.
Black people don't be going to no Boston either.
Nope.
So, my brain is telling me that United States basketball is regressing
Mm-hmm.
as far as its quality. The universe is telling me that the rest of the world just keeps getting better, and that's why we have lost 2 games so far in the Olympics to Australia. Actually, no, 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Australia, France, and Nigeria.
Australia,
France,
France.
Nicholas Batum,
Nicholas Batum,
Delvedova.
Dellavedova.
You know the guy that played good defense against Steph Curry for one game when he dropped 27 points?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, him.
He was the leading scorer.
Don't forget
for-
Rudy Gobert over there in France.
Oh yeah, Rudy Gobert. He's really redeeming himself right now after what happened to him. I mean, everyone on the Clippers seems to just, I don't know, they got spring legs against Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
My ass.
We'll see if he can. He'll need to do some serious redeeming for that L they took in the playoffs, being up 2-0.
Better known to the wider world as the dude that like touched all the mics.
Yeah.
when he had
That's it.
COVID.
Yeah.
That's the
Boy,
one.
that did not age well.
Not at all.
No, definitely not.
I knew it wasn't going to age well then, but goddamn, did I not know it was going to be
not
this
even
bad.
how bad. Yeah. So the response to the United States team losing has been, most of what I've heard has been, oh, well, the rest of the world has just gotten so much better in the last 4, 8, 12 years.
You don't believe that?
I don't believe that, no.
Why not?
I don't think there's a team in the world. I don't think there's an American-born team that you should be able to put Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Chris Middleton on a team send them out there, and they lose to anybody. I don't give a matter of fact. We can stop at Tatum, Durant, and Lillard. We can stop there. Fill the rest of the team out with role players. That should win a gold medal.
Okay.
Kevin Durant is the best player in basketball. He's number one, and you know it.
Or from 40.
Yeah, he can pull up from 40.
This brother can pull up from 40.
He can pull up from anywhere. He's a sniper of the highest caliber. You're not going to convince me that the Australian team, led by Matthew Dellavedova,
Yes.
Yeah.
or the French team, led by Evan Fournier, I had to look up to see who that was.
I'd actually heard the name before.
I knew
but
the
Jesus.
name,
Yeah,
and
right.
we was in the kitchen. I was like, who does, I know that name. Who does he plays for the Orlando Magic?
Yeah,
Averages
yeah.
18 for the Orlando Magic.
Right. He is a solid player in the league, but yes.
Good little player.
Good little player.
Good little
Yeah.
player. He's a good little player.
He might be a little better than a good little
No,
player.
he's a good little player.
Good little player.
You put him on one of these top teams, he's not averaging 18.
He's like Giannis's little brother, just a little bit better.
Right.
Right, something like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So what I noticed, especially after the Nigeria game, is how much more physical the game was being played. This reminded me of something Luka Doncic said after his, I don't know if it was during or after his first year in the league, but he said scoring in the NBA is the easiest time he's ever had scoring. And he's been playing pro ball since, 15, 16 years old against grown men. So for him to say that the American League is the easiest to score in, I thought was interesting. And after having seen international play for the past couple weeks, I see why. Because the international refs, if a player takes a jump shot and they stick their legs out, which damn near everybody on the NBA, the American team does, tries to draw a foul on a 3-point call.
Right.
You see it in every regular season game. They have let this go year after year after year. Fans have complained and complained and complained. People have changed the channel, and then changed the channel.
No, it's the most egregious of the changes in sports. People complain about football and hockey becoming really too soft.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to the
Nothing
NBA.
compared to the NBA. Nothing compared to the NBA. People throwing themselves on the floor constantly, trying to draw a foul call, and the international refs will look at, whatever American player stretched out on the ground after throwing themselves on the ground on a no-contact play, where if they just would have shot the three, they probably would have made it because they're all very good at shooting threes. But no, they're more interested in drawing that foul call. So
They look like
brick-
crash dummies.
Exactly. So they bricked the shot. Nigeria was playing very physical defense with the American team, and they kept the game. Notice the 2 games that America has won, they scored just over 115 points. The games they've lost were all low-scoring affairs, 80-something to 70-something.
Physical, man.
Physical, mean, long,
What you scared of?
painful games to play,
Yes.
and they couldn't handle it. And without getting those calls, they lost the games. They lost. They lost. I don't want to hear shit about, do not talk to me about Evan Fournier being so good that no.
I remember Nick Wright saying, Nick Wright FS1, Nick Wrong, as Ticket TV
Nick
would
Wrong,
say.
yeah.
Yes, Nick Wrong.
That's the one.
He would always say that the skill set and the precision of the players today is so good that it would outweigh by far the discrepancy in the physicality. My takeaway after the Olympics is those Jordan teams, and specifically those Spurs and Laker teams with Duncan, Ginobili, Parker, even that older team with Kawhi that beat LeBron James's and Dwayne Wade's team in 5 games by the largest margin in the history of the NBA and the NBA Finals. Till this day, that's the record. Gentlemen sweep, 5 games. Those teams would beat the living dog shit out of the better teams right now, I think.
Absolutely. 2008 Redeem team with Kobe and LeBron and Melo and Durant and all them.
And LeBron was different back then in terms of physicality. Yes.
Absolutely. He absolutely was more
He was younger, too, to his
conducive
credit.
to, yeah.
I don't get on LeBron for dialing it back. He's getting old.
Right, yeah.
But I do get on to people when they say James Harden is the best offensive scorer we've ever seen.
The best one-on-one scorer, yeah.
When the calls are on his side and his shots are falling, sure. But you've never seen Jordan show up short or go cold or look as pathetic as James Harden. Like, even Jordan on one ankle would find a way to be more effective than what James Harden was. Can I prove this? I think I can. Jordan come in on a broke foot, right? A broke foot and drop 65 points on Larry Bird's head.
Yep. In the playoffs.
At 22 years old.
At 22 in the playoffs. Yeah.
And Bird, him and Magic Johnson were ultra competitive people. For him to say that wasn't Michael Jordan. That was God in basketball shorts.
Keep in mind, this is the
birth of the Black Jesus thing.
This is a white man from Indiana.
Playing for the Boston Celtics.
Going, that motherfucker right there. No. That might be the Lord himself in basketball shorts.
That brother Jordan.
Boy, good, man. Golly.
Actually,
So, but on your Nick Wright point, another thing that the universe keeps telling me, a reason why this is happening is Greg Popovich is fighting against the times. Instead of giving into the isolation basketball that the average team plays now, where you have one real good player and they sit at the top of the key and they dribble the ball, they dribble the air out of the ball for 20 seconds, drive as hard as they can, kick at the last second, forcing this other guy to take a last-second three-pointer, and that's how people average 12 assists now in today's league. You pass it at the last second. They don't have a choice to shoot it.
right.
And they're an NBA player, so they don't make some of them. 12 assists.
And no one shoots over 50% from the field anymore. If you're a small guard, shooting over 50% from the field is nonsense.
Yeah.
Because you have to just shoot.
So instead of playing isolation ball, of course, Greg Popovich has never done that, even with somebody as great as Tim Duncan or Kawhi on his team. They play team ball. They move a lot. 2, 3, 4, sometimes even 5 passes before trying to take a shot. And that's the kind of offense he was running with the Olympic team. He did finally give in, and they did play more iso ball, and they have won 2 times in a row.
Right.
But would they be winning by 15, 20 points?
Would they have the record in the finals? Absolutely not.
Again, I've been complaining about this iso ball and the foul calls in the NBA forever. And in my view, it's finally, the chickens have finally come home to roost for the NBA.
Right.
I don't care. Even if they do still win gold, I'm sorry, y'all motherfuckers lost to France.
He lost to
This may sound like American exceptionalism, I suppose. When it comes to the sport of basketball,
We invented the sport.
like
Why
that.
shouldn't it be?
It's like that.
It's like look, Hawaiians, they don't feel guilty for being great at surfing
right,
because they invented
right,
it.
Yes.
right,
As far as we know.
right, yeah.
Yeah, so
This
I don't
shit
see
right
nothing
here.
wrong with that. Yeah.
This shit right here. I found a great YouTube channel.
And what to France's credit and Australia's credit, you're not saying that.
I'm not saying they're absolutely trash. They got some NBA
No.
players on the team.
They weren't scared.
But we got Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Chris an all-star team.
You could have stopped at Kevin Durant, or I should
Really?
say,
Yeah.
you
Really?
should have stopped at Kevin Durant.
Really?
The fact that you didn't stop at Kevin Durant makes I have one question for you. Where's Kevin Durant in the league right now? Because in my mind, I don't know how any of his most strident apologists, and those are the anti-LeBron fans that don't like the other guys and they really love Twitter. Those guys, they still think KD's the best and most talented and gifted and natural player that's ever played the game, and he's got that thing that makes him the alpha in New York City. Yeah.
That's the part I disagree with.
Right.
I think
But
he's
it's
an
very
incredible.
important.
Yeah, I think he's an incredible player. Clearly, every bit of 7 foot tall, can shoot from anywhere on the floor, and when he's not going, he'll have an efficient 45% from the field, 50% from the field, 25, 30 points. But this is a blemish on his record, in my view. This whole thing, I don't know if they can still win gold. I was trying to find that out before the show and couldn't find out. If they don't win gold, I don't know that I want any of them to come back.
Who would you rather see come home? Jeff Bezos on his next trip to the moon, or Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum?
Damn, that's tough, man.
I seen a clip. I guess it was back when they were in Houston, but it's a clip of James Harden and Russell Westbrook at a baseball game, and they're clearly high off their ass.
Yeah.
Which I actually seen that, and I'm like that. More moments like that, because that was one where their pretensions were down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Russell Westbrook, who you never see in public,
Yeah.
and James Harden, when you usually see him in public, he's always like flexing or fronting.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry, when males do that, I go, what's going on there?
Yeah, what's going on?
You're on the
Yeah.
top of the mountain. This is the time to, I don't know. This is your monk time. You go up there and you really just, I don't know. Jordan got that. When he got to the top of the mountain, Jordan went, you know what? I'm going to go drink my whiskey, smoke my cigar, and I'm going to let you guys tell the story.
Right.
And I'm going to become a real legend.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, was it Jesus, I'm high. What's the, who's Batman go see? The League of
Fox?
Shadows. The League of Shadows. Yeah,
yeah.
some League of
Cool.
Shadows shit there, man.
Yeah.
And you go into the wilderness and you go find yourself out there. That's Michael Jordan, man.
Yeah.
That's a different male of a different generation than
Yeah.
what we got right now.
And even so, I found a YouTube channel that's posting
Not everybody, but
all of
yeah.
these, all of these Olympic games from the Dream Team year '92. And if you want to see some gorgeous looking basketball, my God, these guys, oh my God, the passing. Nobody was out there trying to get their numbers,
No.
right? All they cared about was winning by as many points as possible. Charles Barkley famously said, what do you think of your first opponents, Angola? He said, I don't know where the hell Angola is. I don't know nothing about Angola, but I know they're in trouble. Beat them by 60, 70 points. Or
I don't know what the Mongolians is.
I don't know where Angola's at, but I know we're going to kick their ass.
Yep.
And they sure enough did. I watched the Dream Team versus, I believe, Spain yesterday. And, bruh, again, the defense, the passing, the everything. It's gorgeous basketball.
Yeah.
That's how these guys now are capable of playing that way. They totally are.
Oh, absolutely.
We've leaned into a lot of the wrong things.
Jason Tatum and Kevin Durant, neither one of them, their average height's 6'11".
Right.
I mean,
Can you imagine if Michael Jordan was even 6'8", he was 6'6".
6'6", and before we knew what we know now about, at least I wouldn't say what we know now, but what we know now that's accessible to athletes at the very least about, I mean, this is your line of work. You look at Tom Brady and LeBron James, even if you disagree with the fact that they're doing anything to prolong their career seems to be making a difference.
Right. Yeah.
As opposed, Jordan didn't seem to do anything towards the end to help do any favors for himself.
In fact, he absolutely hurt the length of his career with those cigars and all the beers. This motherfucker would have a 12-pack of whatever it was, Bud Light or whatever cheap beer you would
On
drink.
18 holes of golf, so 3 or 4 hour game of golf.
Yep.
In the middle of the day, 97 degrees, windy Chicago.
12-pack of beer, go to Chicago Arena that night and put up 40 on whoever.
Yep.
And tell you every move he was going to make. I'm going to dribble twice, pull up. You ready? All right, I'm going three in on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Dribble, pull up, bucket. Sorry.
Some of these stories, too, about people, some of these players just eating Oxycontin and Vicodin,
Yeah.
you know, throwing up, empty stomachs, completely high off. You ever been high on a painkiller, or when they give you something, you know, you never broke your arm?
No.
Okay, that if you're not used to that and you just take it, there's no way you're going to go play basketball.
Yeah.
You don't even want to drive a car, let alone. And basketball is not like, I'd even argue more so than football, because unless you're a receiver or a quarterback, I think, or a defensive back, I think your timing and your muscle memory is going to save you. But shooting the basketball and not traveling and dribbling and shooting free throws, there's just way too much time to think about what you're about to do.
Yeah.
Everyone watching you. There's no helmet to hide your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the product should be far better now with
It
the
should.
advancements in technology and science and surgeries and all the stuff that we know now.
But
as
sports
opposed
is
to in the 90s.
exposure.
Yeah.
We have a new generation of anti-exposure.
Right. And I think that's what's happening. Right. That's running away from the physical aspect of basketball, and I'm not saying people should be mugged every time they come into the lane. Word to the bad boy Pistons of the 90s. I don't think people should be clotheslined going for a layup either. But what we have in today's league, I can't believe it, but I'm a bigger football fan than basketball at this point because of this kind of stuff. I can't watch the NBA product anymore. I don't like watching 2 hours of free throws.
Right. I'm with you.
Not interested.
The Clippers this year were kind of, at least in the regular season and towards parts of the playoffs, they were a great, they had their same modern day problems, but they were a throwback compared to a lot of teams in the West. I had a hard time watching the Suns in that finals. Just Devin Booker jacking up 42 shots a game. Chris Paul getting down to the mid-range, and if he can't hit his shot, he's kicking it out. I don't know. Everyone was talking about how beautiful their game of basketball was. I didn't see it.
Yeah, especially not in the finals, even if I give
And
you the first couple rounds.
And their defensive transitions was so terrible. When Giannis and Budenholzer realized, I'm just going to, run to the basket, as James Harden accused me of being.
Right.
And I'm going to throw it down your fucking throat.
Right.
There was nothing they could do at that point in time.
Finally.
He averaged
Giannis
like 40
decided,
for the remainder of the series.
Hallelujah. He abandoned
And we
that
were like,
three-point shot.
For 2 years we've been sitting here going, look, guys, that's fine before the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, especially in the Eastern Conference fucking finals, come on, man.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
And he finally did it.
Be you, bro.
And won a championship. Out there looking like Skinny Shaq, Orlando Shaq.
International player, though.
Yeah.
This is a dude that lives in like a 1,200 square foot apartment in Milwaukee.
We better be thanking God this man isn't playing for Greece this year.
Well, look at what Luka's doing. Luka's out there averaging like 40 points. He's doing what Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum
should be
doing.
Absolutely at ease.
100%.
But I'm also discouraged by some of the comments the players are making, which is a combination of blaming Greg Popovich,
which we not having over here.
and the other one is also agreeing with what you said earlier, that, oh, well, we're really not as great as you think we are. Now, of course, if you put it that way, they'd be like, oh, I didn't say that. But if you're saying that the NBA no longer represents all the best aspects of basketball, that's crazy talk, right?
Yeah.
These guys, some of these guys, these foreign players, they're not making enough money. They have to have other jobs to go along with playing basketball.
Right.
If you play pro basketball in Argentina, like Manu Ginobili did, for a period of time, even if it was like 2 or 3 years, you're also, you had a full-time job on the side.
Yeah.
I would bet money nobody on that Nigerian team makes 6 figures to play basketball every year.
No.
Not even 6 figures.
Would it even shock you if it was
American.
completely
If it was
almost
more
free?
like
Yeah.
40,000 a year American, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, would be more like it. But again, our players have been babied and babied and babied some more and babied some more, and then we put in a rule to where if you breathe on a shooter the wrong way, they get to go to the free throw line, and
Yes,
I'm
and then
good, man.
you
I'm
add the
good.
distraction that a lot of players. I don't know. I think I'm all in favor of players living their truth, whatever that's supposed to mean to that person. Your personal truth is your personal truth. I do believe that. However, it will affect your ability to focus in the playoffs and the championship games. I think that Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, I think the biggest turnoffs for them is their inability to be completely transparent to the world in the sort of political sphere. But I think that's a symptom of their obsession with the game.
Right.
And maybe Tom Brady's going to start talking more like he is when he retires. Who the fuck knows? But I do know when he played, same thing for Michael Jordan, they were accused of almost being sociopaths to some degree because they didn't give a shit about anything, which I don't think is true. I think that's unfair. But that is the going opinion. But I would argue anyone that makes a huge, trust me, in Nigeria and Australia and France, I don't think that's the issue.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then last point on this.
Distraction is all I'm saying.
Right, yeah. Last point, just in the interest of fairness.
Sure.
Kevin Durant did become the all-time leader in scoring for the United States team today.
Passing Carmelo Anthony.
Yes. Yes, he passed Carmelo. I believe this is Durant's 4th Olympics.
Yeah, he played on his first team in like 21 or 22.
Yeah, 2008. So 2008, 12, 16, and then now 20. So, yeah, to his credit.
Right.
And he went 8 for 11, 23 points in their win against the Czech Republic.
Right. I do want to add one more
Go
thing
ahead,
to
man.
that point. The you remember NBA players were banned to play in the league. I mean, play in the Olympic Games until the Dream Team.
Right.
So you're getting an older Jordan, Bird, and Magic, really old Bird and Magic.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if those numbers would be. That's all I'm saying. Is there's not a huge template for those numbers.
Right. I believe Jordan only did the Olympics once.
Right. I think he was 30 or 31 in his first Olympics.
Yeah, because that was 92. So that was during his first three-peat.
Could you imagine when he was the leading scorer for 9 straight seasons?
Can you imagine if
Kareem Abdul
NBA players played in 88 and then they would have had 4 years younger Magic, Larry, and Jordan and Kareem. Oof.
And Isaiah at that point in time would have come. He would have played.
Right, yeah. They
Prime Isaiah?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I think that was before the bad blood between Jordan and Isaiah.
Aren't we talking about like a 10-year gap?
Yeah.
We're talking about 1983, 84 versus 91.
90 for the Dream Team?
Yeah.
92.
92.
Yeah.
Huge gap, though.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas was way over the hill by the time the Dream Team came around, which I think softened the blow of them not picking him.
Yeah. 8 years in the NBA in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s was about as far as you were going to go.
When you were 6'1"?
Right, yeah. That was about it. That was about it. They didn't have those fancy surgeries back then.
Boy Pistons.
These guys can't even walk.
Yeah.
It's true.
You seen Kenny Smith walk when he be trying to run to the
half the weeks he goes, you know what, last second decision here. Sorry, TNT, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, man's knees be rubbing together every time he try to walk. His knees rub together and his feet go straight out to the side. That's how he run like that.
Chuck, too. You ever see the way Chuck sits at a table?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is not the way people sit.
It's
not because he has great posture. If he does this, he's probably got back problems.
Yeah, yeah, he absolutely does. All right,
man.
All right, Cole.
What you got for us?
Well, ever since we've been to the moon, 1960s, late 1960s, it was in 1969, I believe, our fascination with space has only accelerated, I think, over time. Even if we've done less in space since then by, amount of money spent for it. I mean, NASA's less than 0.01% of the budget. It's some crazy statistic like that. Whereas back in those days, NASA got quite a bit of it. But since we've become fascinated with space, so I'm talking the post-Star Trek and Star Wars world, the post-2001 Space Odyssey world.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I think you would have thought, the Vikings' opinion, that you go across the seas and encounter creatures that don't make sense to you. Maybe you see giant squids. You see whales.
That Kraken action.
The biggest animal that's ever existed isn't a dinosaur. It's the blue whale.
It's a fact.
90 feet long.
Yep.
They're fucking right off the coast of California here.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine seeing that. It's a sea monster. It's a legend. Giant squid, giant octopi. The Kraken,
The Leviathan.
The Leviathan. And these are real living, absolutely, we have nature videos now, and we already hear about these things when we're 3. This stuff didn't exist to a lot of these people until they went into the water, especially the open ocean. Imagine seeing a whale shark. Jesus Christ. So, forever, that was the fascination with the strange. The mermaids. A lot of either the forest with the fairy folk or the mermaids out at sea. And the other celestial entities and the gods and Poseidon. The sea was space for the ancient cosmology. In the modern world, it's outer space, meaning leaving the atmosphere of the Earth. And my question is, it seems to be that the universe says that outer space, the black stuff up there, and the stars and the vast empty array of black holes.
Yeah, black stuff.
That, yes, black matter, man, dark matter, dark energy. Those things are the strangest things around. So the universe says the universe at large is the strangest thing, but I'm not so sure. Maybe the oceans and the seas and the gulfs and the pools and the ponds and the locks, maybe those are stranger, even than outer space.
Do you fall one way or another on this already? Do you have an opinion on which is stranger?
I think it depends on 2 things. One, and I think people are going to scoff at what I'm about to say, but we don't understand the origin of life on this planet. And it's so strange that it is possible, mathematically speaking, that the DNA code's 3.8 billion letters long, and then to get the sequence of those letters correct to get the first replicating cell is numbers that are they're similar to the number of stars in the visible universe. So it is conceivable that we are, as an admirer of UFOs, I don't necessarily think that you need life from other planets to have the woo, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So, gun to my head, I'd say there is aliens out there, but I think it is conceivable that we are alone, and that the most interesting place in the universe maybe isn't humans, but it's this planet.
Yes.
Yes.
The genetic diversity we have on this planet is
And by the way,
absolutely incredible.
mainstream science
It's
is not
incredible.
a lot of scientists, they don't necessarily believe in this huge, the Fermi paradox. Less than 100 million years you could populate. Once you get to a sufficient technology, you can populate local star systems. Why hasn't anyone done it yet? Where are they at? Right? And the U.S. government says they don't have any alien technology that they found. I believe that, actually, because I don't think that's what it is. But that's neither here nor that's a different topic.
It's a different discussion, yeah.
But we do know the oceans, very strange, and they're full of life. And I would argue that there's more life in the oceans than there are on land. That's not even disputed. And there is probably more diversity of life in the oceans that's alive today than anything in the Milky Way. More than likely, most of those distant stars are already evaporated and they don't exist, and the civilizations that might have been there aren't there anymore. So if you want to extrapolate my idea a little further, that the anthropic principle just says that, yeah, you and I are here because we have the exact condition. We're here, so of course there's a reason why we're here. That's all that says.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily imply that being here is all that easy to be. Could be very unique, very special. And our ocean could be the best clue we ever have for alien life.
Yeah.
I mean, don't we use octopuses? You think about the TV show, not the TV show, the movie, The Thing, with Kurt Russell. What is that? It's almost like some sort of sea creature that comes from space. And everything it morphs into is more like something in the deep seas than it is like something that you encounter in the jungle, so to speak. Because the seas, that's just alien.
Yes.
So I'll give it to you. The universe is filled with life. Fine. We don't have access to it, so we have access to the sea.
Yeah.
And goddamn is it crazy.
And even within our access to the sea, we don't have complete access to the sea.
Frank's going crazy right now.
Yeah.
He hates this argument about when I say that it's possible that there's no life out there. He's like, yeah.
It's possible. Yeah, I think there's likely something because the universe is so vast. But
until they figure out how it started on this planet, they're guessing about how probable life is. That's philosophically consistent. Until you know exactly how probable life is on this planet, you can't predict whatever mathematical equation you're using, water on some planets and all this other stuff. It's not exactly.
And even our understanding of the ocean is quite limited. We haven't figured out a way. So you brought up the blue whales, for example. Every adult blue whale is covered in scars.
Right.
Head to toe, covered in scars. Scrapes, scratches, scars, battle wounds. What is attacking the blue whales? Their main dish, the giant squid. We never see giant squid because they go too deep for us to have a camera low enough to observe the blue whales fighting with these giant squids. So all we see is the aftermath.
Right.
The blue whale coming up, again, covered in battle scars, but the blue whales always seem to win because they come back up. The giant squids we don't see. So they fight like hell, but they're not very successful. But we don't have a piece of technology that can go that deep and film what's going on, because not only is the pressure too high down there, but there's no light. Light can't travel that far down. So essentially the blue whales are using what they figured out to use, evolutionarily speaking, sonar.
Right.
That's crazy as fuck.
Right.
We have creatures who developed sonar.
And some of them are still better than, in many cases, better than our best sonars. Yeah.
Blue whale's sonar is unmatched. Blue whale sonar can kill you.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they make a click,
Sperm whale.
excuse me, sperm whale. They make a click. If you're too close, you will die.
Yes.
The vibrations generated from that animal are too intense for a human being to even. So we can't even really get too close to those things.
If I remember correct, it can travel
Other side of the globe.
to other seas. You can theoretically call from the Atlantic to the Pacific.
They had a study where they noticed these two whales on opposing sides of the globe communicating to each other. That's how powerful these clicks are. And of course, the ocean can help carry the sound further.
Right.
So they were observing through a submarine sonar system these two whales on, again, opposing sides of the planet, speaking to one another, communicating.
Right.
That's crazy as hell.
It makes you wonder if the myth of Moby Dick is its body being split in half across the oceans is related to just how weird these things probably were to ancient people.
Yeah, there's another thing about the whales is that they were land animals at one point.
Yes.
A lot of them.
A lot of our some of their little feet, right?
A lot of our if you take an X-ray to one of these, you can see what looks like fingers in their fins. Looks like their skeleton looks like 4 or 5 little fingers wrapped by this fin thing. But over time, they evolved web fingers and then into fins.
We have tailbones.
Okay. Yeah.
They have tailbones.
Right.
They have tailbones. It's crazy as hell. That's insane.
Wow.
Crocodiles. There was a crocodile with hooves at one point that ran on land.
Yeah.
Fast as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
And they were way big. They got smaller
Can't zigzag
after the
them
great
up.
extinction events. I think they used to be 50, 60 foot long.
Right. The
Yeah.
Titanoboa.
Yeah.
If we're going over to
Oh,
land,
man.
you know, what?
Oh.
50 foot, 75 foot,
Which is-
5-ton snake. It
Just
could swallow a modern day crocodile whole.
But see, the evolutionary convergences on land are more predictable than the oceans.
Right, exactly.
Because you have to be able to. Gravity works differently on land. You have to be able to move on the land, so therefore need muscle. You know, and you're going to need bones. And sharks figured a way out. You can't be a shark on the land. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
And for people, interesting fact about the shark is they're the oldest living species that we have on this planet. They've been around since the dinosaurs. Before the dinosaurs, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember,
yeah.
but a long fucking time.
Yeah.
And the crocs are second oldest, I believe. Sharks' evolution is interesting in that sharks and crocs, in that it hasn't happened. They haven't evolved in millions of years. They hit the apex of their evolution millions of years ago. They haven't needed to.
Shellfish too. Yeah.
Mass extinction events, right? These
effect,
creatures are different. These things have survived things that we couldn't even. They had a meteorite that exploded over Russia not too long ago. And when it exploded, I'll show you the guys the video after we get off, but when it exploded over Russia, it was the entire city that it exploded over turned bright white because the light was so intense. The windows from several buildings exploded. People's eardrums were blown out, right? This is a meteorite going over that did not enter our atmosphere, but was close enough that when it exploded, it did that kind of damage. So can you imagine one 10 times that size actually striking Earth? And then you survive it? The crocs and the sharks survived it.
And we've had,
It's crazy as hell,
if I'm mistaken, we've had 7 of these mass extinction events, all the same way. Then the Ice Age, which is
the Ice Age was a whole nother battle,
which might have been caused by one of these things going in Greenland.
Yes,
I think the evidence seems to be pointing more that direction.
Yeah,
which that raises a bunch of strange questions itself there.
Yeah, and also to your
lost
point about
history.
The strangeness of the ocean. We are still discovering new species down there. We not too long ago discovered the goblin shark, and I forget what it was.
Or proved the existence of something that seemed mythical.
That seemed mythical, something that's not supposed to be able to happen. There shouldn't be life that deep in the ocean because the pressure's too high. The further you go down, the more water you have on top of you. So a human, you get too low, even in a metal craft, a submarine of sorts, it'll crush it like a tin can if you get too low. And they've got animals down there doing their thing, hunting, eating, surviving, breeding, mating.
The crazy thing, though, is we used to be down there. Cambrian explosion. It was a bunch of like shellfish type creatures, and those were the first complex life forms 550 million years ago. Simon Conway Morris was one of the scientists that initially worked on the Burgess shell, which displayed the evidence that we have now for the strongest theory of the Cambrian explosion. And they call it that because it basically, in the fossil record, it looks like mostly sort of bacteria, and then you start getting like physical complex life forms. I'm not implying that something supernatural happened, but the planet was evolving and changing so rapidly that evolution was forced to speed up. And that was at the bottom of the oceans.
You know what? I think my BVU might be next week. My brain says that evolution is a miracle. The universe says evolution is a byproduct of, it's just the way things go. It just happens. I think evolution is far more incredible than people give it credit for.
Right.
It's incredible that these creatures evolved to their environment so specifically that if you take them and put them somewhere else, every biome, every environment exists on such a hairline trigger that if you even introduce they introduced the brown snake to, was it Australia? Was it Australia? Something like that. A brown snake got onto a boat, and they went to, let's say, Australia, hypothetically, for the sake of this discussion. Snake gets off the ship, gets out into the wilderness, starts reproducing, and before long, this snake had taken over. It wasn't Australia. It was some island. The entirety of this island had been taken over by the brown snake.
Right.
Because none of the animals there knew what to do with it.
Right.
They didn't know what it was.
It's a virus introduced.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so it tore through the entirety of the environment. Just one.
Right.
One of these things wrecked this environment for these other animals. It either ate everything or the predators that could have eaten it didn't know what it was.
Yes.
Because they hadn't dealt with that species before. So even evolution isn't even just, the tools that the animal has. It's also its interaction with the world and its interaction with other species.
Natural
it's evolved
selection. Yes.
to understand, when a jaguar sees an anteater, it goes, I shouldn't fuck with him. You know why?
Right.
Because of generations of anteaters turning around and slapping the head off of a jaguar because they thought they could fuck with it because it's all slow and goofy looking. Right. Over time, it learned better. And now it's encoded into its DNA to stay away from that animal. It knows.
And I feel like there's a lot of myths with evolution, too. Like, I think the biggest issue with evolution in at least America isn't the religious, it's the way that it's interpreted by the masses, which is this completely random and chaotic and almost unpredictable process. That we're all just sort of cosmic car crashes. When in reality, the same guy I was telling you about, Simon Conway Morris, his conclusions at the Burgess shell, Cambrian explosion, was that the laws of physics and the deeper constants of nature, so the weak gravity force, the initial conditions of the Big Bang were so constrained that you could predict that was going to happen. The Cambrian explosion. Just as you can predict at some point in time you get bipedal, maybe not primates, but you get something very, very human-like.
Yeah, well, I wonder about that.
So the question is, if you repeated let's say, the way he puts it is if the dinosaurs were never taken out, you still get intelligence. You still get complexity because the laws of physics and the deeper principles of chemistry and quantum biology, all this other stuff that we're learning more about, they constrain the limits of evolution. So evolution is not, we might need a new word in the future. Some scientists call it emergence, that at some state, chemistry becomes biology, biology becomes consciousness, and you have these new emergent phenomena that comes from underlying conditions, but there's a top-down feature also coming in as well.
Yeah. Would you say
so it's not quite Darwinism anymore, is my point.
I was going to say, would you say evolution is more intentional than maybe people give it credit for on the part of the species?
I'm chuckling because that immediately encourages words like teleology, which that's a theological term.
Right.
And so scientists would never say that.
Right.
But I do think you could say that you can make some predictions from the Big Bang which would imply, and the other thing that's kind of spooky about that is the fine tuning, which you need.
Right.
You couldn't even have a self-replicating organism if the weak nuclear force wasn't what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you changed it at some atomic scale that we can't even fathom, it would still render the universe lifeless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or if you change the, the cosmological constant, it's the one that dictates how quickly the initial expansion happened after the Big Bang. If that was tweaked to like one part in more stars than we have in the visible universe, it would speed up too quickly and there'd be no complex chemistry, therefore no stars, or no stars and therefore no complex chemistry. You wouldn't have nothing. You have a sterile universe of nothingness.
Yeah.
Or it would just contract back on itself, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Biology's tied up in that too.
Yeah. It's because, like,
you can forgive Newton and Darwin putting these things all completely apart from each other.
Right.
But if you just think about it philosophically, that's a nonsense.
Right.
Things don't exist in complete Things coexist. It's all part of the same universe. These things are connected. Quantum mechanics tells us everything's connected at some level. That, me moving this fucking thing here at some level affects everything in the physical universe. But it's so small that we don't even have devices to really understand it.
Right. Nor do we have the proper questions to figure it out in the first place.
So calling evolution
questions to ask,
anti-religious or something, I think, is misleading. Is my point. Yes.
Which is why I like kind of using the word miracle for evolution. Is it's most of the species on this planet have not evolved.
Right.
What, 90% of species ever have died off, or some crazy number like that.
But we did have 11 hominids.
Right, and we made it.
Right.
So why did one species evolve and another one not? Now, I think most people would argue accident. The species got lucky. And which maybe, but I don't know.
I don't think that's true, man.
I don't know.
Because I think you're going to get Morris's argument isn't, does it speed the process up? If I'm given 1 trillion years, I have 1 trillion years to get it. And his argument is at some point in time. It's the same thing as the simulation argument. The simulation argument is, if it's possible, then someone's probably already done it. So why should we be the exception? You could say the same thing here. If it's happened once, then why shouldn't we assume it couldn't happen in different, let's say you keep the laws of physics as they are. So the possibility of life is always possible. But maybe, just maybe, we don't get hit by 3 of the asteroids that we get hit by. The question becomes, maybe it takes evolution longer to figure it out. But you're probably going to you need tool making, so you're going to need something like hands. And your head's going to need to be, you don't want your head by the ground. That's not a good idea.
Yeah,
like there's certain things that have to be, even if you're on all fours, the head needs to be up there.
Right.
Yeah. Giraffes' necks just extend to keep their head away from the goddamn, now their neck's now exposed, but the idea makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Right. Lions can't reach up there.
Right.
Also, fun fact. I saw a video the other day about apparently grizzly bears and polar bears. Polar bears are being pushed further south because the ice caps are melting.
Right.
Grizzly bears are being pushed further north by deforestation, and so more and more grizzly polar bear hybrids are starting to pop up in the wild. It's happening naturally, and they're really cool looking.
Right. It's probably a good thing, actually.
They're kind of like beige colored, whitish brownish color.
Yeah.
I'll show you all that too after this.
I'm sure they still fuck you up.
They will still fuck you up. Absolutely. Grizzly bear, polar bear together.
Man. And what happens if they meet, one going south, one going north? Wouldn't that make a more sufficient species to survive those climates? Yeah.
That's probably the way that at least the polar bear is going to continue to survive on in some ways, because they're so well adapted to ice.
Yeah, right.
Now that it's getting warmer.
That in zoos.
Right.
Sorry.
So they're gonna have to find a way to keep on going. It looks like they found it.
Yeah.
Looks like they figured it out. Start mating with them. They know how to live in warmer climates, so the children will be able to.
And polar bear and grizzly are so fucking cool too.
Yeah.
Big
so
beasts.
Cool, man. Bears are fucking. I mean, no one fucks with bears. There's a reason for
big
this.
1,200-pound pit bulls. That can stand on their back legs. They figured that out.
You got to watch The Edge, man. It's Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
is that they're being followed by? Is it a bear?
yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna kill the motherfucker. Yeah. Unfortunately, the black dude at the very beginning, they ask him to make a spear, and apparently he's so not knowing how to make a spear that he's trying to like cut the top, and on his first try he stabs the knife into his leg, and he's just sitting there. And then Anthony Hopkins, the wise Anthony Hopkins, has to come and patch him up. And
Man, them 90s movies used to play black people for suckers.
Alec Baldwin didn't like him, so he put he asked Anthony Hopkins' character asked him to bury it under the sand so the bears won't smell it.
Yeah.
He's all right. He hangs it on a post right next to the black dude. And so in the middle of the night, the bear eats the black dude. And this is like 20 minutes into the movie.
Always the black guy.
And
that goes
Alec
first.
Baldwin's character, Anthony Hopkins is a
man.
billionaire, and Alec Baldwin's character is having an affair with his like supermodel wife. And so in the wilderness, all these truths kind of come out while they're being hunted by this Kodak bear, which is a cousin of the grizzly, right?
Yeah, man.
And Kodak's just a bigger grizzly,
Big
man.
beast. Big mean.
Kill the motherfucker.
Oh man, so we got a bunch of we have a bunch of different current events that have happened over this week. We had Simone Biles bowing out.
I kind of don't even want to.
I know.
It's like I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah.
Until more info comes out about
Yeah,
why
you don't
she
wanna go too
left,
deep
I don't
into
even
it.
wanna- I don't even want.
We also have Scarlett Johansson that seems to have a lawsuit out against Disney right now in
Oh.
regards to lost wages.
You heard about this call?
Oh, well, this is what I predicted.
Yeah, you did predict it a while back.
There's no way to make money as an actor if it's all streaming.
Yeah.
If you're used to making $1 million per production, there's no way to make money in this new economy.
Tell them the
Well,
numbers.
Disney came out. Well, originally the loss of wages, she was suspected to make about $50 million on this deal.
Right.
Supposedly Disney paid her $20 million in regards to the box office, and she did have a backdoor deal, just like Robert Downey Jr. had a backdoor deal in regards to
Leo, every
getting a
movie he
percentage.
does.
Yeah. And so they let that out that she made $20 million. So, and they also said due to COVID and everything else was the reason why you didn't receive that huge payday.
They totally floated that information
Yes.
about her making $20 million to make
To
her
kind of
look crazy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that was the reason behind it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
We paid you 20. What the hell do you
like
want?
why do you want more? But yeah,
And
So-
I'm sorry, Scarlett, but I could have told you Black Widow wasn't gonna do good.
Right.
Yes.
I don't want to see that shit. Don't nobody want to see that shit.
This is going to start happening to people that you're going to have.
a lot of those are going to come out. It's going to be a
Right.
couple more lawsuits that's going to come out.
Hearing stories
in the
about
coming-
Leo making $70 million
Yeah.
at Inception because he paid himself SAG minimum,
Mhm.
so that because the producers don't want to pay the actors like that.
Yeah.
But if you're famous, you
can
go,
make-
okay, Harrison Ford really got this going
Mhm.
with those Spielberg movies.
Yeah, percentage of the
And then
box
George
office.
Lucas,
and
yeah.
Right.
That's how they
10%
were
of the
make
box
the other
office.
half. Yeah.
But the box office is not there.
That's the
like
thing
It,
now.
with,
Right.
with COVID, and
How do you
also
account?
the chickens have come home to roost for these awful Marvel movies. It's
Yeah.
finally caught up to y'all. It's finally caught up. It's finally caught up. Y'all kept making the same ass movie. Y'all done made 30 of the same movie,
Mm-hmm.
and people finally start watching it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear y'all
And-
got paid too much to do them bullshit movies in the
Right.
first place.
No, I
Yeah,
have no
that's true.
desire. I mean, like, and Florence Pugh is probably my celebrity crush if there is one.
Yeah.
yeah.
She's
God,
just
you
fantastic, and
man,
yeah, it's not a good feeling seeing that she's a part of this now.
No.
That's the
Well,
thing.
she's an actress our
Yeah.
age, and she's brilliant.
Mhm.
That motherfucker made $20 million to do nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Black Widow. I don't give a
yeah.
shit about
Yeah.
no Black
Oh
Widow.
no. Yeah,
There's a couple of actors now that are starting to kind of float the idea of doing a lawsuit against.
Before
different
anybody
companies
else
not
say
to, so.
anything, it ain't because it's a female-led
No,
comic.
no.
I don't
No.
want to see none of that shit no more. Only one I'm watching is Blade. That's Blade
That's
and
it.
Black Panther 2. And the only reason I'm seeing Black Panther 2 is the sport.
Yeah. Gotta support your black films. Put your power fist up. But yeah. And then also we got the current event that I think is
Yeah, let me
the
get
most
this one.
enticing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and tap
Y'all may
in.
Y'all may recall.
Yes.
Went on a little bit of a rant last week about that goddamn, what's her name? I refuse to learn her name. Dr. Dre's ex-wife is her name.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just gonna go with that.
Whatever her name is. Dr. Dre's ex-wife,
Mhm.
making $350,000 a month because she happened to be married to a successful person.
Mm-hmm.
Once Once again, the chickens have come home to roost, ladies and gentlemen. Kelly Clarkson's staggering $200K per month payments to her ex-husband, Brandon Blackstock. Brandon Blackstock.
What does he do?
I don't know.
Well, he's
But
also
this is her fault for marrying a guy named Brandon Blackstock. It just sounds like a no good month, you know. But these payments are only temporary until their divorce is finalized, and then there's going to be some type of settlement, allegedly. If I could guess, Brandon's probably gonna, you know, extend this as long as he can and keep getting $200,000 checks. You mark my words, the both of you, y'all too. Mark my words. Now that this has happened to a white woman,
things gonna change.
now that this affected a white woman, nobody liked Britney Spears back in the day when this happened to her. Everybody was glad. Kevin
Everybody
Federline
was
took
like-
her for everything. But Kelly Clarkson, watch they change these laws now. Watch in the next couple of years, magically, these laws in California finally get changed. But I personally, I can't shit on Dr. Dre's ex-wife and then not shit on Brandon Blackstock. He's clearly, like, as a grown-ass man, I don't care how much money my ex-wife, I don't want nothing from you. God bless you. Love you. I'll miss you. Take care of yourself. Goodbye. I don't want no $200,000 a month from you, lady. No. I'm a grown-ass man.
But men, why are you putting those expectations on men?
Because fuck you. That's why. Because I want to. No, that's sorry as hell. That's sorry as hell. Regardless of the gender. When you divorce, I'm sorry. I disagree with you being owed payments from your ex after y'all divorce. No. In any circumstance.
Get marriage out of state and government's crazy to me anyway. But that's another thing, yeah.
In the year 2021 that people have to pay $300,000 a month because y'all divorced. No, this should not still be happening, people.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to just start saying this is like a Roman thing, and maybe people will fall in love with it.
It's
strange.
sickening.
Yeah, it was like, I think the Roman Empire was very common. Marriage was so tied up to the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't lie though. I did really, I kind of enjoyed Kelly Clarkson's misfortune. I went ha.
I told you the last time I've heard Kelly Clarkson I was 14 years old at a Dallas Cowboy football game watching a halftime show.
Yeah.
And they said, Kelly Clarkson. I don't even think she did the halftime show. I think she did the Star Spangled Banner at the beginning. Yeah.
I haven't even heard the name Kelly Clarkson since
American Idol.
Shit, 40-year-old virgin.
Yep. It's screamed out by Steve Carell.
That's it. That's the last time I heard Kelly Clarkson.
Shout out
until
to
I
Kelly.
found out her husband's taking her for everything.
I feel like ever since Carrie Underwood won American Idol,
Yeah.
that kind of fucked her up.
It did.
You know,
Has there been
But she's-
anybody
since
big
that,
I mean, Kelly Clarkson is she the biggest star?
I think she was the last one. And like,
What about,
who else?
well, I mean, I think Carrie Underwood sold this.
Oh, yeah.
She's
yeah.
made
She's
like $100 million in country
like
music.
Fantasia didn't do too well. Ruben
No,
Studdard didn't
Ruben
do
Studdard did
well.
not.
None of the black people did well for
No,
some reason. I'm
no.
sure that's just a coincidence.
Oh, what's it? Well, hang on. Jennifer Hudson, she won an Oscar.
She didn't win American Idol though.
Yeah.
Right.
She was just on it.
Right.
Those
Well,
idiots.
yeah, I don't have a high
That was
esteem for that show anyway, but yeah.
absolutely dreadful. Was it mother?
Yeah,
so-
when he left, I was kind of done. I mean, because everyone that at least didn't take themselves too seriously watched just to see Simon.
Just to
Yes,
see
it's
Simon.
just the insults. We just
Gordon
wanted to hear it.
Ramsay, the
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay of
That's all we were there
right.
for.
of
When he
I don't
left
know.
and it turned into, oh my God, you're so great, you're so wonderful. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Then I couldn't watch it anymore.
Yeah, when they got
No.
Nicki Minaj and fucking
Then you had
Mariah
the whole
Carey.
voice
Mariah
effect where it
Carey.
became more about the judges and
Yeah.
already existing successful famous people with a show that's supposed to be designed to help others out. It's crazy to me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry,
No.
Yeah, this doesn't shock me.
Yeah. Shout out to Brandon though.
Yeah.
He made quite a
I
comeback.
mean, he's got his own management company. His top person right now is Blake Shelton.
Oh, is that's what he does?
Yeah.
And they have two kids named River and Remington.
Yeah.
River and Remington.
Oh, I don't.
I think Blake Shelton is probably him and was it Gwen Stefani?
Yeah.
That's the only like Democrat-Republican relationship in
That's out
Hollywood.
there. Yeah.
Blake Shelton's a Republican.
I think so. Yeah. Like it was a big issue. Like when Trump got elected, I think that was a big issue for them. but
I'm
they found a
sure.
way to make it work.
Mhm.
And I went, oh my God, this is that might, but no one talked about it because of course you
Because of course they did. If they divorced, they would have talked about it.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah. That no good piece of shit left her, and he's a dirty Trump supporter. No good son of a bitch.
But
And she talked about all her fans. I think she lost too. So it's
Oh yeah.
yeah, but I'm not gonna feel bad. For
That's the
these-
thing
these-
about
like,
being
like if you want, you can choose. If you don't want, I don't want to get into it. We live in Los Angeles. I
Right.
work in Beverly Hills. I see people
Yeah.
that want their relationships to be known.
Right. Right.
There's ways to do it in where you don't have to go through these extremely public versions of your life.
yeah.
I'm just not buying this, even like the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, although I think that Amber Heard completely. Sorry, if you haven't read this and you're just going to judge this on me choosing to side with Johnny Depp, the male in this case, you go read the evidence and go look at it yourself.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is even in that case, Johnny Depp being he's 50-something years old,
Mm-hmm.
marries a 20-something-year-old.
Taking
female.
everything, got his fingers cut off.
I knew from the day it started, I'm like, it won't work,
She took a shit in his bed.
Man.
But I'm not an idealist like that. I don't look at the world
She
rose-colored
fucked
glasses.
Elon Musk and Cara Delevingne in his bed.
Yes. In his bed. Shit in his bed.
Shit in his
Feces in
bed.
his bed.
Can you imagine you come home and
She
it's
cut
just
his finger off.
and there's human shit.
Allegedly.
Just sitting in the
Allegedly.
middle.
No, she cut that bitch off.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
Amber.
there is hard evidence for that, by the way. Amber,
Why are you doing this, Amber? You don't get your
Amber,
fucking pirate
my
ass
love,
up my face.
Amber.
You really carrying on this? What was his character?
Motherfucker,
Was his pirates
motherfucker.
character?
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, he carried on with that Jack Sparrow. You
Fucking
need to
drunk
get out
all
of
the
character.
time.
You need to get out of character there,
Yeah.
Johnny, and come back to the real world, man.
Now, I will say this, and so I'm to some context. You got to put context on these things. The video that TMZ leaked of him going, Amber, motherfucker, and he's drunk and he takes the phone from her. He had just got back from the morgue with his mother.
Yeah.
His mother just passed, and so she was videoing him in a moment of like existential angst.
Yeah.
It wasn't, the way it was presented
Right.
was he just come
Yeah.
home from work
Just
one day
drunk,
and was
yeah.
just anti-misogynist piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know if
not
I'm
it.
ever gonna get married, man. I don't know. It's getting.
But I
it's
mean,
getting
that's
like-
still like it's. I still
like,
feel.
I
I
don't
still
know.
feel like a prickle up my spine. Going. I feel like I'm going against the grain still by just pointing out something that's been
Right.
proven to be true. That's absolutely hideous.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can
Right.
imagine being married to a white woman and she takes a shit in my bed and cut off my finger. I would be the one in jail by
Yeah.
the end of that situation. Absolutely.
100%.
Right.
Zero doubt.
And all his exes go. He pukes in the sign of like confrontation.
He's clearly soft as fuck.
We've been around. I know men like this.
He's clearly soft as fuck.
Right.
He,
Exactly.
he wouldn't do shit to anybody, Johnny Depp. He's too soft to do anything to anybody. Soft.
But you don't know that.
I
You don't
do
know.
Yeah.
All right.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I know. I ain't never met Johnny Depp.
And I think it does a shame to listen, like the post Harvey Weinstein world, to all the women out there that are really fixing things in Hollywood, because there's a lot. Listen,
No, yeah.
let's be honest here, but you gotta, please,
Yeah.
I'm on your side,
Let's
but you gotta cast people like Amber Heard to the curb.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's you don't want her representing your movements.
You know,
It's
right?
only
You don't
gonna
want her
do
being an
damage to your
ambassador for
movement.
the United States of America, dating billionaires and that sort of 9 yards. Yeah.
This is where we at.
She would have stood right beside a privileged white man, Pontius Pilate. I wash my hands of the whole nonsense. That was his wife at one point in time.
Right. Yeah.
You got to be honest with yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
All right, folks.
we got one win in the men's column in this divorce.
We got two in the men's column, about 11 million in
Oh
the
yeah, 'cause
women's
you gotta
column.
put Kevin
Kevin Federline.
Kevin
Yeah, no,
Federline.
no,
Kevin
too,
and
so yeah,
Brandon.
they winning out here for us.
I feel like all the power of the men's Olympic team has transferred to these divorce cases in the
Good
state
old
of California.
Blackstock. Brandon Blackstock
Blackstock.
is in a mansion somewhere in Malibu going, I feel the power.
Who said Space Jam was fiction?
Right, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Put your hand on this ball. I haven't seen the new one, so
I won't be seeing it.
Nope. Not happening.
I'm good.
Nope.
2 hour, 2 hour long? No. All right.
Well, of course, thank everybody for being there, for being a part of the show, of course, being in the chat, as well as don't forget, As you want to support Brain vs. the Universe, please go ahead and subscribe to Outside In Theaters. You can also find them on Twitter, you can also find them on different social media sites as well, through Outside In THTR, as well as you can find us at BVU Pod or any other web.
Yeah,
Twitter.
BVU Pod on Instagram is probably the best way.
It's going to be able to find us. But of course, subscribe, support. See you guys.